Ani Bijou, hello Joanna. Today I was feeling pretty good. I think I did some healing when I was crying in that video, but to be honest, it's always pretty tough when I talk about my past and my traumas and child abandonment as well. I didn't really feel too triggered today. But what I do recall a memory that I didn't include in my timeline that I've kind of pushed away. I was actually involved in a house fire when I was really, really young. I remember I had to be under the age of 5. So what happened was my mom must have been sleeping or having a nap, and my brother, who was very young at the time, had found a lighter and he had lit the curtain on fire. And all I remember is being stood in front of a tree and a fireman asking, "Are you okay?" So I don't remember where we moved after that. I felt like I only remember living in Clinton from ages 0 to 6, but apparently I shifted around. So I never really had a stable home at all. So that's really important to me, that I provide stability in my life. And when things aren't consistent in my life, I really go backwards. I realize that these classes and these choruses, we do a lot of healing, and I do feel like sometimes it does more harm than good, because these are things I don't think about anymore. I've addressed them, I've talked about them, I've written about them, all my traumas that I have and how they made me feel. Yeah, so like you said, it's like opening an old wound, and it kind of puts me, that triggers me, because then the way my mind is set up and wired is that I can't stop the negative thinking. Once something happens, it just really sets me up for a spiral, like a hamster wheel. It just keeps going and going and going. Say if I were to have a fight in the morning with my partner, that can possibly almost ruin my whole day if I let it. It really puts a damper on my mood, and all these just negative thoughts flood in. So I feel like my brain is wired to not love myself, worry a lot, because I worried a lot as a child, thinking about my next meal, if my mom was going to be hurt in a relationship. And it took me a lot of strength to love myself, because I remember being really critical of myself. My mom always criticized me, and when you grow up like that and you wear those words, you wear them all over your face, and it hurts. It could be just the slightest little thing and it would feel like a bullet wound. So that's something I'm working on, is not letting things bother me, and just to accept people for who they are, disassociate myself from them. And took a break there. I guess I wanted to go back actually to the fire. That's not something that I think about too often at all, really. It's kind of been erased out of my memory. But I thought that is pretty traumatic, to have to go through a house fire at such a young age, on top of the sexual abuse, child abandonment. That was the worst thing ever that I experienced, because it always set me up for disappointment. So I think that's where a lot of my negative thinking comes from. And then that allowed me to not love myself and to get into abusive relationships and accept it, because I didn't really know what real love was. Like, I knew how to be loved, and I had good experiences with my mother, but that's just one thing I'm going to work through. And same with the trauma counseling, because I had found out I had a different father from ancestry DNA, and I possibly could have been a child of rape, because my mom swears that there's no way, even though she was hiding this big secret, she just never talked to me about it. And When I did ask her, she said there was no way, and I thought, well, there was a lot of drinking back then. She could have been passed out. When I did bring that up to her, she just said, I hope not. I've been raped before, Kendra, and she did at a young age, at 13.